Juice Bar back, not the Eastern Conference second round, but
the semis.
Game 5 reaction. We're going to break it down. How do we get back to that Game 4?
Energy.
Pace, energy, flow that the Knicks had in that matchup. Game 6 back at the Garden Friday.
I think we just need to sit next to each other. When you, me, and
correct.
Harrison sit next to each other,
Undefeated.
the Knicks get W's. Undefeated.
So we'll break that down. Monaco was right. They got the win. Game 1, Game 2. Got to give him his flowers. We'll break it all down. But let's go back to Game 5. Let's go back to Boston. Jason Tatum goes down.
Yeah.
Gets the Achilles tendon repaired. Same surgeon as Kevin Durant. He's already on the mend, on his way back. I've never seen an athlete get surgery that quickly before.
Surreal.
That was some of the...
Well, we were there. You want to talk about it? A few minutes left.
Sure.
Knicks were up 7. It was 111, 104-ish.
Yeah.
Up 7. I think it was a little around 3 and some change or under 2. Yeah. And then I was recording the clip, so I didn't see Tatum like that. I just was all eyes on OG going down and laying it in. But, yeah, I mean, that was, for us in the Garden, everyone ready to go well over 100 octaves. It did lower the room. Everyone became human.
And guys get hurt and there's certain reactions where it's like, oh, no. This was clearly, he was down. Never seen an athlete tell them to call timeout. He was telling them to call timeout, stop the game. Like, I'm in bad shape here. So you knew it was serious when he got.
Well, you had the observation immediately. His foot went up.
Yeah. So the thing about the Achilles injury that and obviously I'm not a doctor. By the way, I hate when people say that. Yeah, we know you're not a doctor. Like, and I shouldn't have said it just now. Yes, I'm not an MD, but
Twitter doctor though.
Yeah,
Twitter doctor.
Twitter, whatever.
Twitter MD.
I still have an opinion
Paging
and a
Dr.
guess
Little
on what's going on. Right? You're like, no, I'm not a doctor.
Dr. Little does sound good.
Clearly, you're not a doctor. You were on the Juice Bar. Yeah.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Dr. Doolittle and Dr. Little are very similar.
So
you got something going for you.
My observations throughout the years, as seeing some of our favorite athletes go down with Achilles. We saw Durant. We saw Aaron Rodgers. We saw Dame recently. When the Achilles snaps, the foot has this very dead look of like it's not moving at all. Like
pointed, right? You were saying
it's
pointed.
Pointed
up, maybe?
Like straighter up where like it's clear the tendon is not holding the heel, so it looks like this natural facing down motion. It looks unnatural where it's looking like this and not like this. You know what I'm saying?
And he was spinning. He was writhing in pain, so he was spinning. So like,
and it's not moving.
With my astigmatism, I could barely see what was going on. You're over here like, not foot up. That
looks bad. So takes the air out of the sails, but it makes them play a different type of offense in Game 5.
Very much so.
In Boston, the ball did not stick last night at all. Anytime ball just moved and flowed. Jaylen Brown had 12 dimes.
12.
That is not in his bag at all. But the way they had to play without Jason Tatum being on the floor, it's a double-edged sword when you got a guy going like Jason was going in Game 4.
Yeah.
He couldn't miss. You had to give him the ball. He had to have the rock. Everything had to go through him. He plays a little more ISO ball sticks. Without Jason on the floor, the ball was flying around. My guy Big Waz tweeted out Patrick Ewing effect. And you know what that is. Where your best player is out and
everyone steps up.
Everyone plays better, looks better, team overall.
Well, it was a weird
at another level.
Do you think I love the psychology
Patrick Ewing theory is what it's called.
Yeah. The basketball psychology in that Game 5, on some level, you tell me if I'm right in the style of thinking. It was almost pressure. Yes, it was pressure on Boston, but because of the Tatum injury, it wasn't the same pressure. They had an out, if you want to call it that, or just they played almost emblematic of the looser kind of like, oh, all right, well, now we're off the hook, asterisk next to this Knicks series type deal.
Sure.
And now going back to Game 6, still want to talk Game 5 with you. I do think the pressure's back on the Knicks. When there was no pressure at all in this series before, pre-flop, but here we are, and I can't help but take in the new information and say psychology-wise, Boston's going to play loose again, and we got to sit here and talk this out.
Yeah, you just can't let them play loose, though.
To that ball not sticking thing, that was the most assists they had in the series, and both games they've had more than 20 assists are their 2 wins. They had 27 in Game 5.
I mean, the Rock was flying around. And Sam Hauser not playing in Game 4 and playing in Game 5 is probably the most underrated, under-talked about point in this game. Him not playing in 4 and then coming off and being another option in Game 5, combined with how well Luke Cornett played off the bench, combined with how they shot it overall, was big. Hauser, Cornett, and Pritchard are all bench guys. They played unbelievable.
Sean Zingas didn't play the second half. Apparently he couldn't breathe well. He's not well.
Yeah.
It's past the point of like picking on him or nothing. He's dealing with some respiratory stuff. Yeah, he has been non-existent. I don't think he's cracked. He hasn't cracked 15 points. I don't know if he's cracked 10.
He's been bad. But the reaction is they were never going to lay down.
Yeah.
They were favorites going into that game without Tatum. Almost 2 full possessions, pushing 4.5. It was a tight game. It was a really odd game, if I'm being honest.
Dead tie to half, 59 a pop.
The whistle was insane in a lot of instances, especially in that third quarter. If you look at the numbers, Boston had more fouls. Like, it would look like it was in the Knicks' favor.
So the Detroit game.
But there was minutes, big spans of time where it looked like the whistle was going against the New York Knicks. Like, you can look.
I say it way more than you, so I love that you said it.
And I usually don't go that angle.
No, you never go that
angle. I'm more
angle.
of the guy, like, I wouldn't get fined as a player. How about that? But it felt like the whistle was against the Knicks yesterday.
Can we go research with it? Has there been 5 fouls for a superstar in one playoff quarter? 5 fouls. I asked Jeeves. I tried. I couldn't find an answer.
And
5 fouls in a quarter.
And I also like when the fouls are earned.
Jaylen Brown needs him in his family jewels. Foul on Brunson.
There was a lot of fouls that, how about this? To be fair to everyone, every 50-50 foul call went against the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Any call that could have been a play on that has been went against the Knicks. And the whistle felt like it was against the flow of the series, the way the whistle had been being called. Felt a lot more touchiness was getting called, a lot more soft overall calls were getting whistled. So let's move on. They dropped Game 5. In the 2 games the Knicks have lost, they've got dusted off. And they've responded. So what makes me think they wouldn't respond on Friday at home on a Friday night in front of their fans,
Facts.
knowing they can close out the series and play in the Eastern Conference Finals? They've bounced back every game off of a loss in this series throughout the year, throughout last year.
Top 3 off a loss.
They always bounce back off a loss. It's no different for me here.
I'm with you. I
I haven't seen the number. If I had to guess, the number is Knicks minus 4.5. What is it?
I got it right here. Ironically, what do you think the total is? 209.5. Knicks minus 2, minus 136. Close.
Knicks minus 2, minus 136.
At FanDuel at the moment.
I would lay 2.
Gotta lay 2.
I'm going to lay 2.
I love it.
I did find one other instance of 5 fouls in a quarter, and it was Jokic getting 5 against the Clippers, but they still won that game and put up 35 points in the quarter. So, like, Brunson, definitely the most impactful 5 fouls.
Do you have it? What quarter was it? I bet you it was the 4th.
It was the 3rd.
It's the 3rd for Jokic, too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, look, Sean, if Bridges and Anunoby are giving you 15 combined and Brunson's in foul trouble, there's your game. So without obviously building up the Boston side, and that's exciting for them. But, I mean, it's almost – I joked I've lost like 1.5 friends in this series because I've been so at Boston's jugular on the internet. But now it seems even more personal because Boston fans are starting to chirp back. talk to me a little bit about the psychology going into MSG here.
Well, me and Monaco had an all-time beer the other night. We leave,
Oh yeah, all
we
time.
leave game.
Celebratory.
We leave game 4 after the win. We go right across the street.
Shout out Mustang Harris.
Have a beer sitting outside. We're relaxing. It's actually great. We're watching Warriors, Timberwolves on our cell, and this it stuck with me. This guy. First of all, there's all types of people walking across the street saying all types of stuff.
The gambling guy?
One Celtics guy goes, "You guys are celebrating 3 wins. I'll see you at the end of the series," is what he said.
Walking by.
It's
a great walk by line.
And
it's a rent-free line right there.
It kind of hit me like, yeah, I mean, the Knicks have put themselves in a really good position to win the series, but they still got to get one more.
Yeah.
They now drop this. Game 7 on the road.
Don't want it.
Tatum or not, you don't want that.
Don't
right?
want it.
So
don't want it. Not the way the
pressure
refs
is
are
back
calling it.
on the New York Knicks. I think they take care of business at the crib, but the market is telling you -2, -136.
Close game.
Yeah, it could be a really close game and could be a grind potentially.
Here's what I want to ask
without
you.
Jason Tatum.
Refs have definitely, without going into that too much more, maybe leaning Bostonian game 4, game 5. Even in the Garden with Scotty Foster, there was a lot of, the New York crowd, which I love, gives you real-time feedback, I feel, in more ways than one throughout a game in the arena. World's most famous. That's why it's so key to be in there and being able to take it in, and we get to watch the monitor after the fact. Talk to me about, I felt like Jaylen Brown, I'm not going to lie, felt a little bit of dirty, foul play. I'm seeing Brunson get hit in the midsection, Josh Hart get hit in the midsection. Wherever you want to go with that, I'm bringing it back to the Detroit series. The only time the Knicks really got out of their flow is when they stooped down to Detroit, kind of mucking it up, if you will. We haven't used the word muck it up too many times in this series. I got an inkling it's going to be a little less clean type game because it's a closeout game. It's a desperation game in a different way than game 5.
And they don't have their guy.
Yeah, so talk to me. How can the Knicks avoid these booby traps, these landmines of Boston maybe trying to play chess with that mental edge?
It would be really interesting if Boston came in with that angle, the physicality.
Like
angle,
using Luke, like Cornette, to be that guy, someone
under
that
their skin type of thing.
Because Missoula wants to live in the darkness, so I'm wondering how that factors into coming into game 6.
He kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I'm born and raised a Laker. You telling me?
So
I despise Green.
I don't want to actually
can't
go
even
down
see
that
it.
road, so I won't. But
we got time, baby.
Coming into the Boston series, I had a conversation about the Pistons, and I was like, funny enough, this is probably a better matchup for the Knicks offensively because the number one priority for the Pistons was to jam up everyone, press, make the game as non-flowy as possible,
Facts.
Get as many whistles as possible, slow down the flow by any means necessary. Boston believes in their style of play offensively so much so that they'll just try to outshoot you. They'll just try to run you out of the gym that way. But that creates a lot of flow and back and forth where there'll be big chunks of time with no whistles. And I believe that plays into the Knicks' advantage because they're an offense-first team.
Yeah.
They've been that all year. That is why the Pacers matchup is so interesting because the Knicks have better defenders and the Pacers want to play open, wide, offensive basketball.
It's a great clash of styles in a lot of ways.
The Knicks would welcome that.
100%.
So, the Pistons series, Knicks had a lot of trouble. Got through it. Game gets a little physical, a little chippy in the last game. Knicks have a little bit of trouble. They're missing shots. They're off their game. But it would be interesting if that same approach happened in this game at the Garden. Different reaction. I think the whistle's a little different as well, being in the Garden.
Yeah.
But salute to Josh Hart because I think he handled that probably as best as he could.
The Cornette elbow?
The Cornette elbow.
He got hit.
The Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, him right in the. His
well,
wife quote tweeted it too. What's going on here?
Well, before
Trying to have more kids. Can't be hitting.
before he grabbed this Johnson,
Yeah.
he had ran into him.
Dude, Jaylen
And then
Brown
went.
went.
He said about
full
2 illegal
berserk.
screens. So yeah, it was a lot going on. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think that's going to be the approach. And I think if that's the approach, the Knicks will handle it
Yeah.
a lot better and respond a lot better being at home in the Garden.
Derek White goes for 34.
He's a killer, man. Let's have a conversation about this guy, actually, if we're being honest.
9 for 16 from the field, 7 for 13 from 3.
There's one guy on the team and on the floor where he puts a shot up open, and then I'm like, I almost can't look. Because it's like, this is probably going to fall. Anytime he's their most dangerous player.
He has to be, at least in this series. He's a Knicks killer, too.
He does all the little things and knocks down open shots and makes you play and does the hustle element. I love Derek White and his game, man. He is a true hooper in every sense. So
Did he go 3 for 3 2 first quarters in a row? I think he did.
Yeah. Well, I think he went 4 for 4 in
Game 5, yeah.
game 4.
Oh, in the Garden, he had 4 threes?
Yeah, remember he started the game. I think he had 4 threes in the first quarter, at least the first half.
Louise.
But yeah, he's been awesome.
Well, look, we talk about it. Brunson, not a bad game, but a game where the ref takes him out. That's what you want off the loss. We know what they are off a loss. We know what we are off of a Brunson humble game. And you had Anunoby and Bridges, again, combined for 15. All of that bounces back pendulum-wise just a little for us. Derek doesn't hit 7 threes. I mean, Derek hit 4 or 5, don't hit 7. Jaylen Brown going for 12 dimes, 8 boards above his pay grade. I don't know that same output on both sides carries through. I don't know that we need to build up Game 6 too much. Just maybe don't fall for the traps or any of that, Because I think Mazzulla, if he's doing the Mitch Rob, hack a Mitch, all that, I feel like he will go into some sort of dark arsenal of anything he can throw out there on the mound to try to buck him off.
Derek White in the last 2 first quarters is 8 for 9 from 3.
Yeah, I mean,
Ridiculous.
listen, I think we just get a little bit of a more balanced game back at the Garden. So Bridges and OG are 5 for 26 from the floor. That'll balance out.
100%.
The foul problem and trouble will balance out. Jaylen Brown going for 26, 12, and 8.
Yeah.
And for a guy that turns it over quite a bit, only having 2 free throws with how much he handled, or 2 turnovers, for how much he handled it, will even out. Derek White had 3 blocks, too. So, and Luke Cornett, 7 blocks.
7.
So I think a lot of that stuff balances out, and I got to back the Knicks at the crib.
Have to.
When it comes down to, we've seen what happens to the Boston Celtics in crunch with Jason Tatum. I don't know if that ball skips around as much as it does in the half court in crunch time. And then if you add on top of that, Jaylen Brown being the number 1 trigger man, Jaylen Brown's a dog. Finals MVP. I understand all that. But when we're talking about pure shot making, his is not as good as Jason Tatum a lot of the time. I favor the Knicks in a lot of different scenarios here. I think -2 is actually extremely short.
Yeah, to put a button on it, the Celtics are 17-3 over the last 2 years without Tatum, but all 3 L's are on the road. Anything you want to speak on to us in the crowd and the crowd, because I do believe the crowd is a factor here.
Yeah.
Anything you want to just go over? Any, I don't want to say do's or do nots. We're not New Yorkers, but we are in there.
Don't bring the nervous energy. Bring the free-flowing fun.
Like it.
We're so stoked to be here and be able to capitalize on this opportunity. I've told this story before. I'm from Chicago. Cubs hadn't won the World Series in 100 years. I went to Cubs-Dodgers at Wrigley.
NLCS?
I believe it might have been the divisional.
Okay.
Manny Ramirez on the Dodgers. Fake dreads, the clip-in dreads. Shout out Manny Ramirez. But the energy in the building was beyond nervous. Like the here we go again energy. Soon as anything would go wrong, it was like moaning and groaning. It's like, oh man. Fast forward to 2016, I was in the building for the playoffs, and no matter what, it was always jovial, it was always loose, and it was always just support. No matter what. Go down 3-2, no problem. If you remember, they went down in the Giants series. They went down in the World Series. They were down in every spot.
By the way, your boy, correct me if I'm wrong, had the Game 7. Remember the rain? He had the all-time Pacino speech.
It never, ever, ever felt like it was always jovial and loose. I think that's what you got to bring to the Garden. Just have fun, support them. They go down early, support them. They go up early, support them.
I love it.
And just see where it shakes.
Celebrate the extra hustle.
Yep. 2 shots.
Any defensive, dog.
Which they already do anyway.
They already do.
But you don't want to bring that. Oh.
No, you're right. Well, Scott Foster was driving us all ballistic in Game 4.
Mitch misses a free throw. Oh. Just keep it loose, keep it fun. Continue to support him, and you got 2 games to win 1. You had 3 games to win 1. Now you have 2. Still in really great shape to be in the Eastern Conference Finals against a team that you'll be favored against. So the opportunity is still there. Just come in loose, have fun, and they'll get it done.
I love it. Ben, any resident New Yorker 2 cents on the crowd? Any epic crowds you've been in for any sports in New York that you could co-sign on to do or do not?
Well, I don't think I can say the first word, but starts with an F and then Boston.
Let's go. All right, Knicks at 6, baby. We're out. Juice Bar. Make sure to check out the Juice Bar across all mediums. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. Sean Little at Chicago Flow. Alex Monaco at Moneyline Monaco. We are rocking every week at MSG Networks. Tune in.